key takeaway here, like increasing your ad spend does not grow your market nearly as quickly as understanding your prospects and clients in a really deep and profound way. Now, I wish like somebody like Nietzsche had said that, and so it had more weight. I said that, so whatever, like take it for what it's worth. All right, so if you would like to get opportunity on your current state of ROU, I'd invite you to come check out Agency Breakout because it's $99. Agency Kickoff because it's $99 a month. I developed for agencies, but we also have a bunch of other service businesses in there. I probably should change the point, but this is a really lightweight coaching and feed program that can help you keep ROU in front of your face.
Tim, love that. Thank you so much. Great start of the marketing session. And it resonates a lot with also a journey that we have been going through here at Breadcrumbs. It's, I think, particularly interesting the fact that many companies and operators really focus on, it goes back to the what and the why, right? Like one thing is the feature and the mechanics around it. And one thing is, what are you trying to achieve? What's the broader business outcome that you're looking for that this becomes a tool for? I find that particularly fascinating because the more companies can tie one to the other, the more they can be successful and accelerate a bunch of other processes as opposed to not. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I see that Vincenzo just asked a terrific question. Reduce sales cycle time.
Yes.
With, using AI and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to say this. AI right now is fantastic at so many things. It makes hard things pretty easy, right? It creates connections that you don't see. But the power, I think, here is when you were able to tie those data-driven connections and opportunities to the idea of trust and alignment. Well, then you change very quickly from somebody who's trying to trying to take something from you. We've all been sold, and we feel like the person on the other end is like, well, just sign the contract for God's sake. Like, it's easy. Like, it's great.
Get it done already.
Like, come on. What are you waiting for? Like, do you hate money, bro? That sort of stuff. Right. And that puts the buyer on the defensive.
Right.
They want to know what's in it for them. And once you do that, then I think the acceleration from stuff like AI is, I can't even calculate it, honestly, because once there is trust and alignment, then there are very few decisions left to be made.
Right. Yeah. And just validating the fact that you understand their pain point, you understand their objectives, what they're trying to achieve. Because another one of the things that you mentioned, which I found very, very fitting, is the fact that not very many realize that part of the sale is guiding change management. Right? To your point,
that's everything, right?
Yeah, to your point, like the user is going to have to learn different things because
and everybody hates
that now. Right. So how do we have that? How do we enable that? How do we make them as painless as possible? And how do we get them on board on that journey?
Well, it's by holding out the carrot, right? Like strategic goals. Save time. You get to leave at 3:00 on a Friday afternoon instead of 7:30. Right. Whatever it is, right?
So Vincenzo, to your question, I think like the reduced sales cycle is an output of this pre-work like that you're doing from an alignment point of view, from a level setting point of view, from a strategic goals, as well as change management. Would you agree with that, Tim?
Yes. I mean, absolutely. Like change management and strategic goals are like they're inextricably tied.
Right.
Because, if you were going to hit the goals doing what you were doing, you wouldn't have to make any changes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so I do see there was a question here.
Deepak, it was like great session. This is another topic that I wanted to touch on with you super quick. So he's saying, Deepak, Thank you. Just had a question. Isn't asking for an NPS soon after onboarding too early?
No, because all you're asking them is about the NPS, about the onboarding. And the questions are like really simple, like, did we do a good job? Like, did we answer your question?
So far.
And honestly, it sets up the positive or negative. It sets up a regular feedback loop.
Right.
Because the worst thing that can happen is that you touch base with your customers once a month, and when you, as the AE or whatever, you look in and their usage has dropped dramatically. You're like, well, at that point, it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more regularly you can incorporate feedback about specific things, not like, would you recommend us to a friend? No, you can't do that early on. But did we do a good job in onboarding you, and do you feel understood, heard, and know what's happening next?
Right.
Oh yeah, you do. Awesome, cool.
Right. Last question from my end, Tim. So we talked about ROU, right? Return on understanding, and lots of when we talk about KPIs, there is lots of infrastructure around them, lots of frameworks around them, lots of way of measuring. And you mentioned NPS as a way of measuring that. Is that the way in which you're measuring that, or are there other ways to measure?
So I think the way to sort of measure this is at scale, certainly, is by identifying friction points. Are the friction points around contract? Are they around terms? Are they around onboarding? Whatever those friction points are, and your team already knows exactly what they are because they go through them every day. Right. And if you make a concerted effort to focus specifically on those friction points and figure out what you don't understand that's making that's creating those friction points, then if you can measure the reduction in friction, and this is an ROU, it's an emotional KPI. Mm-hmm. It's very soft and squishy. It's like, it's very kindergarten-y, like, friend, are you feeling understood today?
Right.
Do you know that we love you? but that's what you really need to, like, it's the reduction of friction in the process. If stuff was hard and it becomes a little bit easier, it's not your process that's better.
So I would argue that the way of measuring that, it's not one specific number, but just improvements around your processes. If there are things that are working better than before, that's because you're understanding more.
Yeah. So like you can understand that you're asking too much of a prospect at a particular point.
Right.
And so like they slow down the sales process, or you're asking way too much of somebody during onboarding and they might not be ready for the things you're asking for 2 weeks post onboarding. I think there's an awful lot of there's a lot of squishiness here, but like you're all smart and
it does translate into like operational elements that you can look for and apply.
Yeah, like if you your team already knows where the friction points are. If you start there and just really look at those friction points from the client perspective, and you understand like, oh, crap, like we're asking them to fill out a 97 question sheet before our kickoff meeting. What the, like nobody wants to do that.
Right. Tim, love that. We are at time. I have to kick you out.
All right, kick me out. Love you guys.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Tim.
All right. See ya.